Dr. Clark, I wanted to ask you, how did you make the decision to become a teacher, a professor in higher ed?
Okay, that's sort of an interesting question because I was trained as a teacher 7 through 12 in my earlier career, and I had decided at that point that I wanted to move away from education, and I really wanted to look more at research. So when I decided to go back to graduate school to work on a PhD, my focus was to do research, specifically to do public administration or policy analysis. But what happened along the way, I encountered a professor by the name of Dennis Judd. And Dennis gave me the opportunity to teach one of his classes as a graduate student. And in that process, I came to the realization that I actually really loved teaching and decided that maybe that's something I should pursue. And that's how I decided to become a college professor.
Okay.
I know that you have taught, you're a resident of Missouri, and you have taught at a couple of institutions in Missouri, or more. But how did you make the choice to come to St. Xavier?
St. Xavier was sort of an interesting choice for me. I had a professor by the name of Dr. Mazzaro who was my mentor. And Dr. Mazzaro had indicated to me that it would be a good idea to get an opportunity to practice the interviewing process because it was quite extensive and it would be good to find out the pitfalls. And so I decided to fill out some applications to places that I might get an opportunity to practice the interviews, and St. Xavier was one of those places. Really didn't expect for them to contact me, but when they did, it became an opportunity for me to do that. And so I came to St. Xavier and I interviewed for 2 days. And the funny thing that happened to me when I interviewed for St. Xavier, I fell in love with the institution. It was the kind of place that I wanted to be, and it represented my own personal values because it was all about helping students, especially students who had never had any college background or training. So that's why I wound up staying at St. Xavier.
Okay.
I was reading over your bio, and I noticed that you began your career here at St. Xavier in 1996, and that means that this is your 20th year with the institution. My question is, what legacy would you like to leave as a professor here at St. Xavier?
I think the thing that I cherish the most in terms of legacy is to be known as a person that puts students first. That to me has been the one thing that I've absolutely wanted to be known for, that students matter, and that not only do they matter in relationship to how we treat them, but in terms of their own personal development. So that was number one, that students matter. The other thing I also wanted to be known for was the fact that I was fair and consistent with all people at the institution, open and honest, and I took the opportunity and the time to communicate with everybody. That again was something that was important to me. And then I think from a programmatic standpoint, I'm really proud of the fact of the creation of the African American Studies program. I also had a hand in the public administration program, and also the STRONG program, which is a program designed for African American males. In addition to that, I'm also proud of the effort that I've had in terms of being the chair of the History and Political Science Department for over 10 years.
I'd like to take the time to congratulate you on being our first recipient of the SXU Legacy Award.
Okay, and I want to take the opportunity to thank you guys for thinking of me in that way. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all the things that you guys have done in terms of putting together, the program and developing a Legacy Award and all the other awards for celebration of African Americans' contribution to the university. I think it's been a fantastic thing that you folks have done.